some people compare iPhones, some people compare cars, but today we're talking about something far more important. Funko, YouTooz, and Thrilljoy. 3 known collectible companies, one showdown to rule them all. And yes, it looks like one of them already lost their balance.
Like, comment,
and subscribe for more content. Notification bell?
oh,
I'm going to be looking at different characters that each of these companies have made figures of and determine which one I like better from the different companies. So we're going to be kicking off with Jason Voorhees. And this is more specifically the regular one because one of my inspirations for this video I'm doing today came from a channel called the Gasolcast, which talked about the Savini versions of Jason. So we're going to start off with the Funko Pop of Jason. For the time that this pop was made, it looks pretty sweet. Of course, it doesn't really have much posing to it, which is a disadvantage like a lot of older pops back in the day, but I do love the detail of the blood coming off of the machete. It's kind of what you think of when you look at Jason Voorhees. And I do like the detail of the one eye being shut while the other one is wide open. Now looking at the YouTooz Collectibles version of Jason Voorhees, this one does have more of a posing as he is walking towards you or running towards you. The mask is almost similar to the Funko Pop, but of course the different shape with the head. The jacket is ripped up with the arm sleeves, and then you also do have blood pouring down the machete, and it also drips down to make a base with the blood as well, which I really like when it comes to this. And then we got ourselves the Thrilljoy figure that's exclusive to Hot Topic. And when I do talk about the Thrilljoy figures throughout this video, I'm not going to give so much favoritism for the fact that all of the figures they make include chases, including the fact that this specific Thrilljoy figure is the chase variant. I like the detail of the amount of blood that is splattered across the body, and I think if I were to do a process of elimination off the bat, it would be the Funko Pop being eliminated from this equation, considering that it doesn't have much of a posing. So it comes down to the Thrilljoy and the YouTooz figure. Even though both of them do have really good blood splatter details, I really like the detail of the jacket going on with the YouTooz figure. So off the bat, I am giving the first point to YouTooz Collectibles. This was pretty close, but yeah, the YouTooz I think was better when it came to that certain detail that gave it the edge. The next character we're going to be looking at is Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. First up, we'll look at the Funko Pop, and it's more specifically the OG one. Of course, Funko have made a bunch of different Leonardos, whether it is for the TV series, the live action movie, or even for the Retro Toys lineup, but I wanted to go with something more specific towards what the other figures look like. Already with this Funko Pop, it is pretty cool with the way that he has the katanas in front of him. You do have a bit of a grin on his face, which is kind of rare to see Funko Pops with mouth, so it does give a bit more of an advantage with this. Then we got ourselves the YouTooz figure. I like the expression with the face, and I do like how it's almost a similar posing to the Funko Pop with the katanas, except that I'm not entirely a fan, and this might be a little bit of a nitpick, of how the katanas are kind of crossing the torso area when you can actually see that more with the Funko Pop. And then we have ourselves the Thrilljoy figure. This one's really cool. I like how much of a lighter green this is compared to the other ones. I like the posing with this as well compared to the YouTooz, but the thing that I like this more than the YouTooz is the fact that not only do you have a posing with the katanas, but you also are able to see the detail within part of the front of the turtle shell, unlike the turtle shell with the YouTooz figure. So once again, process of elimination, I am going to say Funko is first eliminated. So it does really come down to the YouTooz figure and the Thrilljoy figure, even though I really like the more darker green with the YouTooz rather than the Thrilljoy. I like the posing and how you can see a lot of the figure, unlike the YouTooz where it's crossing out the front part of the turtle shell. So I am going to give the edge to the Thrilljoy figure here. Once again, it was close, but Thrilljoy got the edge this time. Next up, we have ourselves Heat Blast from Ben 10. Funny enough, all 3 of these figures were created this year in 2025. So kicking off with the Funko figure, I really like the detail that went into this, especially for being a Funko Pop figure when it comes to the whole outfit, the way that the flames are done, especially when you look at the head, and how one thing I do like when they do flame effects is different colors instead of choosing one color for that. Then we got ourselves the YouTooz figure. Although it is fairly detailed, there is a bit of bugaboos in my opinion, and one of them, like I had mentioned about the Funko Pop and how I liked about it, is how they used multiple shadings of a certain color to show fire, while there's only one shading of basically yellow here for the flames of the YouTooz figure, but everything else is pretty solid. And then we have Heat Blast for the Thrilljoy figure. The one thing that I'm going to give Thrilljoy so far is the best effect when it comes to the fire. I like the fact that you do have more of an orangey color with the bit of yellow, unlike the Funko Pop and the YouTooz figure, where either it's like two shades of yellow or it's only one color of yellow. Honestly, surprisingly enough, the process of elimination first is going to be the YouTooz figure. And although it is fairly detailed, I did mention that there are some bugaboos. First off, of course, is the one shading of color for the fire when they could have used multiple. I don't like what they pulled off with the flames coming out of the hands, because in my opinion, it doesn't really look like fire. It could look like multiple things. First off, it could look like a set of blonde wigs. Another one could be like bananas coming out of his hand, or perhaps like soft ice cream. And I know YouTooz can definitely do better and have done better with their figures. This one was kind of a miss in my opinion. So it comes down to Thrilljoy and Funko, and both of them have pretty similar posings, but I think it might come down to like a preference. I think I'm giving the edge to the Funko Pop, which ties things all together at one apiece. Not gonna lie, as a guy who collects more Funko than he does the other figures in this video, I'm surprised Funko even got one in this video.
Shout out goes to Sentinel107 and Duh Unacceptable Viewer.
And the reason that they ended up getting a shout out is because they joined our YouTube channel membership, which only cost $1.99 a month. Not only do you get the shout out, but you do get lots of other perks, including early access to every single video and shorts that we produce on this channel. So definitely consider joining our YouTube channel membership. It will be greatly appreciated and will go a long way of helping out this channel a lot. So definitely consider it, but let's get right back to the video. Next up, we have ourselves Superman. And more specifically, these figures are based off of the recently released James Gunn's Superman movie. So we're going to be kicking off with the Funko Pop here. I do like when Funko actually does a unique posing with their pops, including the fact that this pop is flying with the assistance of the stand. And I kind of dig the fact that in recent years, Funko, instead of doing the clear stands, have actually done colors based off of the character itself. And I do like the blue stand. It kind of goes well with that Superman in my opinion. Then we got ourselves the YouTooz figure. Now, once again, with this figure, it is in a flying pose, but the added bonus that really gives it an edge so far is the fact that you kind of got a 2-for-1 going on where crypto is involved as well. And especially with the price point that YouTooz figures usually go for being $29.99 US, I believe it is, I do think that that's a bit of a bang for your buck to get a little bit of an extra figure added on to just one. And then we have the Thrilljoy PIX figure. And not gonna lie, I do think, of course, that the posing is a little bit bland. And unfortunately, unlike the YouTooz, you can't get a crypto with this one because the chase variant of this PIX is crypto, while there is a super chase of Lex Luthor. And that's why I'm also gonna say for this is that Thrilljoy will be the first one eliminated from this decision process. So it comes down to the Funko Pop figure as well as the YouTooz, and I think this is an easy pick. I do have to go with the YouTooz figure of Superman. You got the crypto added on to it. Not only is he flying, but also if you want to have this figure out of the box, the way they made the cape make it so that it doesn't fall over without needing a stand like you do with the Funko Pop. And last but not least, what you probably saw in the thumbnail, SpongeBob SquarePants. So with the Funko Pop I chose, it is the SpongeBob with Gary that's a part of the Pop Town that came out in 2019. I wanted to go with more of a stationary SpongeBob, unlike the different meme SpongeBobs that we've had from Funko, and I guess also YouTooz when we'll get to it. And I do like the fact that you do have a Gary on top of him. With the YouTooz figure, this was the most stationary SpongeBob figure they had, where he's holding Gary, and I think they did a great job with this one. There's a facial expression. Gary is being held instead of being on top of the head. I think they really pulled this off, and especially the cool little base. And then last but not least, we have ourselves the Thrilljoy figure. Now this figure is okay, of course. It's not really in much of a posing, which gives this a very big disadvantage at the moment. However, the detailing of the face makes up for it, and especially much better detail than the Funko Pop, which I actually have to eliminate the Funko Pop first. Especially even though obviously as a collector of Funko Pops, I'm used to the fact of the black eye effect, but when you add the black eyes on Gary, it just makes him very soulless. I think they could have done a little bit better with the Gary. So it comes down to the Thrilljoy and the YouTooz figure, and judging by what I said already, that I'm gonna have to give the edge to the YouTooz figure, which is the official winner of this video.